talking about pooping, and we got into the SIBO and the SIFO and the infections. And one thing we were talking about is the idea of binding being really attractive, because it sounds like it's just going to grab onto the toxin and it's just like perfectly in a straitjacket essentially, but that's not actually how it works. And you can actually get worse using binders. And I did that one day in particular. I've had many days like this, but one where I took like 8 capsules of charcoal because I was just ramping up slowly to see how I felt. When I got up to 8, oh my God, I was way worse. And the reason is the binder is a weak magnet, I think is the best way to look at it. And so the mycotoxin is attached to it, but it can still detach on its journey through your intestinal tract and reabsorb into the bloodstream, especially if you have gut irritation or leaky gut. So this goes back into what you're hitting on, which is you really got to do the gut work, get the gut somewhat optimized first, or maybe simultaneously optimize the gut. Because if you've got all these binders moving stuff through, but your gut's super leaky, or the second problem is you're constipated, you're not pooping, you're going to reabsorb a lot of this stuff and get worse. So if you've taken binders and you feel worse, those are 2 reasons why.
Exactly. I mean, if you go, I think you can get these, like you see them at like the science museum when you're a kid. It's like a plate of iron filings, and then you put a magnet on top, and you can see the iron filings kind of trailing the magnet. And obviously, like the faster you go, you're going to see more of the iron filings kind of like falling off the tail end, right? And kind of getting left behind, right? If you put that magnet in there and like you just really go slow through the iron filing board, you keep a larger percent of those iron filings. So I kind of look at that as, if we start using binders, the less we use, the less fall off we're going to have as well. Well, one, the less you're going to mobilize, right? And the less you mobilize, the less fall off as a percentage, right? And as a absolute amount. So if we're going to start with binders, we're going to start with a very, very small amount to mitigate the fall off percentage that is just going to happen. Because like Evan said, there's a weak bond there. And so you can break some of it off. And of course, a lot of these binders could cause you to have slower motility. So if you're already on the fence with your gut and you start doing any binders at all, and you notice your motility starts to slow down, got to be careful. We got to start either waiting, fixing the gut, maybe adding some natural motility support. We just have to be very careful. Binders causing slow motility is going to be a recipe to cause more mold die-off issues.
Yeah, for me, luckily, I never had a problem pooping. My poops were always great. Even on cholestyramine, I never got constipated. That's like the biggest complaint of it. No, I was fine. So for me, I was lucky, but many people, they do get stopped up. So we will come in and use, like, magnesium can work great, like magnesium hydroxide or citrate. We'll use higher dose vitamin C. What else do you like to use to move the bowels?
Well, we can use natural prokinetics, whether it's ginger, 5-HTP. A lot of times neurotransmitter 5-HTP issues can cause problems because that really helps with the gut as well. We can look at things like carnitine. We can look at a lot of different bitters that can be helpful. Not having enough acid or enzyme levels can easily cause slower motility. Obviously, a lot of sympathetic nervous system stress over adrenal stimulation can activate more of the sympathetic nervous system. That can slow down peristalsis and cause a lot of problems there because we need more parasympathetic nervous system stimulation. So all of those things can push us in that wrong direction.